morning, Chair Hasse, the members of the board. We are now live and recording, and everyone's been admitted from the waiting room.
Good morning. Welcome to the first meeting of the year for the ALRB in 2024. Before we get started, even if you're able to hear me now, in order to ensure you have good audio quality throughout the meeting in your preferred language, please look at the interpretation button on the bottom of your screen if you're in the Zoom app. Click on either English or Spanish, and this will ensure you'll be able to hear the meeting in its entirety. I will pause for a moment and let that be relayed in Spanish as well.
Buenos días y gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Por favor, vean su pantalla que ahora tenemos el servicio de interpretación. Ocupa que usted esté usando Zoom en su computadora o su teléfono y que empiece el servicio de interpretación yendo hacia el abajo de su pantalla un glóbulo que dice interpretación. Por favor, elija el idioma en cual va a escuchar la junta. Aunque vaya a ser en inglés, por favor, haga esa elección. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Santiago. Okay, now we will convene the meeting. First, I will go through the roll call. Board Member Broad?
Present.
Board Member Flores?
Present.
Board Member Hall? Okay, I'll believe he'll be joining us a little bit later today. And Board Member Lightstone?
Present.
Thank you. Also present today from our staff, as you saw, is our Executive Secretary, Mr. Santiago Avila Gomez, who is providing technical support. We will first have our open session portion of the meeting, and then prior to going into closed session, there will be an opportunity for the public to provide public comment on any portions of the meeting. Members of the public who have contacted the board prior to the meeting will be called upon first. If you did not previously reach out indicating you wish to make public comment, you still may do so in one of several ways. You can indicate in the Zoom chat feature by either using the raise your hand feature or indicating in the chat that you wish to make a comment. Please note, do not make any substantive comments in the chat. It is just for communicating that you would like to make a comment, as comments made in the chat will not be part of the public record. Please identify with your name and organization if applicable. And from that, we will now go through and go on through the rest of the meeting. We do, and one last before I forget, we did have some technical difficulties. We do note we do have trouble managing all the sound, so please have your device on mute if you are not speaking for the meeting. Okay, our first agenda item is to approve the meeting minutes from November 14th and 15th, 2023. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Broad. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Member Lightstone, beat Flores to the buzzer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The minutes from November 14th and 15th have been approved. We are now going on to the chair report. I am pleased to have several updates today. First, I am excited to share that the General Counsel has recommended, and the board, on behalf of the board, I approved after interviewing Ms. Yesenia De Luna as our new regional director for Region 2, formerly known as the Visalia region. Ms. De Luna has been serving in an acting capacity since last spring, and we are so pleased that she wanted to make the role permanent and very excited to continue working with her. As noted in the fall, the General Counsel proposed a restructuring of the regions to reflect the different staffing levels and also current workload. And so regions formerly Salinas and Visalia will now be Regions 1 and 2, and Region 2 will encompass the Santa Rosa, Visalia, and Indio offices, as well as some staff that are in the Sacramento area to help reach farm workers and other ag regions within Region 2. So again, congratulations, Yesenia. I've been very impressed with all the work that you've done so far, and I'm really excited to continue to work with you. So thank you so much. I'm sure the General Counsel will have some other thoughts there, but we're very excited. I also wanted to share with the board some activities since our last meeting. On the Wednesday prior to the Christmas holiday, I had the good fortune of being able to join one of our field examiners, Sonia Vargas, out of our Salinas region, who was really exciting to get to meet her and hear about her experiences. But then we also had the opportunity to participate with an event led by Farm Worker Caravan, and I see that they're here today, as well as other local organizations in the Half Moon Bay area, including ALAS, to help deliver tamales made by volunteers and also gifts from local organizations for farm workers and their families for the holiday, and in recognition of all of their hard work. And it was a really wonderful event. It's been a year since the tragedies of the Half Moon Bay shooting, and it was something that since that time we've had a lot of internal discussions and some discussions with other organizations about how that's been an underserved area, at least for the ALRB, in terms of reaching that farm worker population, and we want to do better and help listen to the community there and understand their needs so we can better serve that population and address their needs and support those workers. So it was really happy to have the opportunity to join in that event, and thank you so much, Darlene, for being such a key organizer. It was a lot of fun. It was a good event. Continuing on, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge some significant departures from the board side. At the end of the year, our senior advisor, Ed Blanco, who'd been with the board for several decades, but serving in recent years as a retired annuitant, left the board for other things. And I just want to thank him for his service and all the institutional knowledge that he gave us. He's been a wonderful colleague, and it's a huge loss for us in recent years. Ed had served as our election advisor and also primarily in a role of, as the board gained jurisdiction due to the legalization of cannabis, reaching out to the cannabis industry, both the employer and worker side, and consulting on some of the unique legal issues that we've been dealing with there. And he was a huge asset, and I'm sure our paths will cross, because I don't think he's stopping anytime soon. I think he's still going to be active in serving the public and helping serve workers. So very excited. Very sad for us, but happy for him that he gets to enjoy that retirement that he's worked so hard for. Additionally, I'm so pleased we have one of our staff members, Devika Ganawardena, here today briefly before he leaves us, sadly. Devika, it's been a pleasure to work with you over the past 2.5 years. You've been such a huge help to the board and our staff. A wonderful colleague. Devika has helped with a lot of research for us, and we were so fortunate to have his expertise, and now he's leaving us for an exciting research fellowship opportunity in Sri Lanka, and after having a new baby. So we're very happy for him, but sad for us, and thank you, Devika. It's good to see you, and we wish you all the best, and if you come back to California, we hope you'll consider coming back to the board. And then last but not least, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the upcoming Martin Luther King holiday. It has become a holiday synonymous with service, a value that Dr. King truly lived and espoused, and he would speak about how anyone can serve. And I want to thank all of our staff who I think really exemplify that principle. You are all very dedicated members of public service and helping further the goals of farm workers and helping further the goal of economic justice through supporting farm workers assert their own power and advocate for better working conditions. And so I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that as we reflect on Dr. King's legacy and what we can do to further those goals that he really made sure that we lived up to, or tried to make sure we lived up to. And with that concludes the chair's report. Our next agenda item is the Executive Officer's Report on Elections, Unfair Labor Practice Complaints, and Hearings presented by our Executive Officer, Santiago Avila Gomez. Santiago.
Thank you. Since the board's last public meeting on November 14th and 15th, there have been several matters that have come to be issued as complaints, and there's been a few admin orders, and of course there's a pending matter. I'll start by reminding folks that this report, along with any other reports that are produced for our meetings, can be found at our website in our meetings tab. Since the revamp of our website, it's changed a little, so you can find meetings under About Us on the left side of the page, and that'll lead you to both public notices and to reports, including this report for today. Since our last public meeting, there have been 4 complaints, 1 consolidated complaint, 2 admin orders, and 1 pending matter now before the board. In the complaints, starting with True North Farming Company involving strawberries in Ventura County, that was issued on December 28th. Second complaint is Bianchi Partnership involving walnuts in Butte County, and that issued December 29th. Third complaint, Destiny Farms, LLC, involving various vegetables, Santa Barbara County, December 29th was its issue date. And finally, Bud Antle, Inc., involving commodities, Monterey County, December 29th. Oh, let me repeat for the interpreter. I can hear that. Yeah, trouble hearing. The 4th complaint, Bud Antle, Inc., and that commodity is lettuce in Monterey County, and that complaint issued on December 29th. Turning to the consolidated complaint, it was issued in United Farm Workers of America and Monterey Mushrooms LLC as respondents, and that involves mushrooms in Santa Cruz County, and that consolidated complaint issued December 28th. 2 administrative orders have issued since our last public meeting. The first, Zavala Farms of Salinas, LLC, ALRB admin order number 2023-17, issued on November 16th. That order granted the regional director's request to seek enforcement pursuant to Labor Code Section 1160.8 and involved the board's decision at 49 ALRB number 1. The second administrative order is Norman's Nursery, Inc., ALRB admin order number 2023-18, issued November 27th, and that order denied the General Counsel's request for enforcement of subpoena enforcement. Finally, for pending matters, there is the Terra Nova Farms, case number 2023 CE 019 VIS, and that is General Counsel's request for subpoena enforcement that was filed on December 29th. At our website, you can find the admin orders as well as the board's decisions. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Santiago. On to our next agenda item. We do not have a litigation update today, so we'll go to our next item, which is our General Counsel's report with General Counsel Julie Montgomery. Julie.
Thank you, Chair Hasid, and good morning to all. I will start out by just echoing congratulations to Yesenia De Luna, our newly appointed Region 2 Regional Director. Just really happy to again have some permanent leadership, or just established leadership in that region, and being able to move her from the acting capacity into the permanent position is just, I think, I'm really happy to be able to work with Yesenia, and we have a lot of exciting plans moving forward for the region and for the General Counsel program. So happy to have her as part of the team and to welcome her. So thank you. And I also just want to announce that today is our outreach manager, Daniela Ramirez's birthday. So just shout out happy birthday to Daniela. Hope you're having a good day. And with that, I'll just go into, I have a couple of settlements to report, as well as just a little brief overview of some of our great outreach work that the staff has been doing. So we've had 2 settlements since the last board meeting. And one is, and they're both pre-complaint settlements. So one is for Chenoweth Vineyards, which was filed, a charge filed in May of 2023, and it was settled in December of this last year. And that charge claimed that the Chenoweth Vineyards was retaliating and discriminating against a worker and one of her co-workers by failing to rehire them because of protected activity, which included the charging party complaining the previous season about not having water in the fields or restrooms. And when the restrooms were there, she also complained about the condition of the restrooms. And the parties reached an informal settlement for standard noticing remedies and supervisor training. There were no monetary remedies, as when we went in to do the back pay, we realized there was none owed to the worker, but she did receive all of the standard remedies. And then there was also a settlement in Satakoy Berry Farms, which was a charge filed in March of 2023 and settled in December. And in that case, a strawberry harvester out of Ventura County alleged that that company retaliated and discriminated against her by refusing to rehire her because she engaged also in protected activity of complaining about lack of water, as well as lack of security for the worker's personal property on the job. And the parties there reached an informal settlement with the ALRB, in which the employer will pay the charging party $1,783 in lost wages, as well as the standard noticing remedies. So just kudos to our Salinas region on those 2 settlements, which were investigated, and those charges were dispensed with within several months' time. So glad to see that those were moved forward and resolved in a timely fashion. And then on outreach activities, even though work has slowed down in a lot of parts of the state, the staff has still been really active in getting out and reaching people and doing a number of trainings and presentations, community events, and media presentations. So on November 16th, our staff provided a training to TODEC in Coachella and Riverside County, which is a CBO, a community-based organization. And there were a number of other trainings and presentations, one in Monterey County to some workers, Spanish-speaking workers, through a church in San Ardo. There was also a training of community health workers from the Tulare County Health and Human Services Agency and their partner organization. So we've been training nonprofit community groups to help them understand what we do and what workers' rights are, as well, so that they can help get folks to us when they need it. We've also been continuing office hours in more remote areas, including in Santa Maria, in Santa Barbara County, and Santa Paula in Ventura County. And then there have been a lot of community events that staff have attended, which there's so many, I don't have time to go through them all, but I'm just going to highlight which counties they occurred in, and just involved tabling, providing information, talking to workers, in some cases giving short presentations. So we did tabling and community events in Riverside County, Ventura, Santa Cruz, Imperial, Kern, Santa Barbara, San Benito, Kings County, Madera County, San Mateo, and Fresno County. So all of those counties, we had staff present tabling and doing these events. And then we also did several media presentations, including a Spanish radio interview with Mixteco Interpretation, with Radio Indígena in the Oxnard and Ventura County area, a radio interview in Spanish at out of a radio station in Salinas in Monterey County. Our staff did a pre-recorded interview in Spanish for KBBF in Sonoma County, and also recorded a interview on Facebook Live for Imperial County farm workers, hosted by the Calexico Mexican Consulate. And I'll just also mention that we had a number of staff who showed up to the farm worker breakfast it was the annual farm worker breakfast. It's been going on for I think more than 35 years or thereabouts. And right on the border, and we had a number of staff there who showed up to provide information to workers, serve them food, and just provide resources to a large group of workers that came through to get breakfast before, in the middle of the night, before heading off to their work sites. So just want to give a shout out to our regional offices and our staff, including the outreach staff and the regional staff, just for getting out there and doing all that great work. And then that concludes my report, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Really appreciate that update, and then all the work of the staff who've gone up and down the state for all the events. I'm always so grateful for our staff for doing that. Okay, next we have our, the next agenda item is the Administrative Services Report with our Chief of Administration, Brian Doherty. Brian.
Good morning. Just happy to announce that today the governor is releasing the 2024-2025 governor's budget. I believe the press conference is supposed to be starting momentarily. We, for ALRB, will have two budget proposals that are included in that budget. One is a standalone ALRB proposal, and another it will be a consolidated proposal that was submitted from the Labor and Workforce Development Agency that will be providing additional resources to ALRB for proposal and consideration in this upcoming budget. Once those documents are publicly released later today, I'd be happy to get into more detail on exactly what is included in this budget. But for now, that's all I have.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that, and appreciate all the work you and your team are doing behind the scenes. I know it's been a busy season for you guys this last month or so with other things that we don't in terms of end of year operations and responding to various entities. So appreciate it. We do have a brief regulation update from our Chief Board Counsel, Todd. That's our next agenda item. Todd?
All right. Yes. Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
We
excellent.
can.
So just a quick note on the regulatory front. Last month, the Office of Administrative Law completed its review of the board's rulemaking package regarding the cannabis and labor peace agreement regulations. And so that was filed with the Secretary of State, and the regulatory action will take effect on April 1st.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate everyone's work, and thank you to the rulemaking regulatory subcommittee as well for all your work on that. We do not have a legislation update today, so prior to going into closed session, I will turn it over and open up the floor for public comment. I will first go to Santiago to see if we have anyone in our queue.
No one in the queue.
Okay. If anyone wishes to make public comment, please either use the hand chat feature in the Zoom application. You can email Santiago, and his email address is on our agenda, or you can message him in the Zoom application. We'll give a moment there to see if anyone has any public comment they wish to make.
Does not appear anyone has public comment today.
Okay. And with that, the board will now adjourn into closed session. Thank you.
Hi, Laura, we're back. We're going to be just making a brief announcement here.
Thank you, everyone. It is 10:58 and the board has returned from closed session. Our next agenda item is announcements. Our announcement is the next regularly scheduled board meeting will occur on Thursday, January 25th, as opposed to Wednesday due to some scheduling issues. And it will be at 10 a.m. with a Zoom link, and then opportunities for the public to attend either in Sacramento or in Los Angeles. So thank you, everyone, and this meeting of the ALRB is now adjourned.